Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Patrick Bartley here, and today I have a very, very special video for you with a very special guest. It's one of my longtime friends that I've been playing with since, it's been a long time. It's been, way back, since high school, and he's one of the greatest drummers on the planet, played with everyone. I mean, the amount of people I could list is unreal. We're talking about Roy Hargrove, the Heath brothers, Branford Marsalis, so many different people that he's played with. I'll post his credentials somewhere in the comments or something like that. But I want you to help me give a big welcome from the comments at home, Evan Sherman, jazz drummer extraordinaire. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about something very important that, for those who are saxophone players or other horn players, you might be thinking, wait, what happened to the saxophone content? I thought you was talking about some saxophone stuff. Well, if you know anything about jazz and playing jazz, you know that this is a community music. That means that it's for everyone to listen to and also everyone to participate. That means that if you're a saxophone player, you need to learn how to play with this guy. And what better way to learn how to play with this guy and people that also play his instrument than to understand the drums and how they work? Now, in case you haven't seen the other videos already that may or may not be up, this is actually going to be a part of an entire series talking about the drums. A few videos with my friend Evan Sherman here. And today, this video, we're going to be talking about the history of jazz drums and the history of the swing field, basically, and why that's so important for us to understand no matter what instrument we play. As a saxophone player myself, I feel like the most growth that I've actually had as a player has not come from just the harmony or the melody. It's all come from my rhythm. And spending time with this guy and all the amazing drummers I've played with has taught me so much about the way I play that all of the accents, in accent as in speaking accents, not just accents you put on top of the note, but the actual way that I play the note matters so much more than the note itself that I play. And so taking time to really understand the drums and the history of how they work and why they work really helped me as a player. So I really suggest everyone to get with that. It is often said that the very first instrument that humans learned to use was the human voice. Well, I can tell you what the second one is. It's the drums. So if you want to learn the history of anything, that means that the rhythm of our language is the most important thing. And that is a combination of the two things that we're going to be learning today. So just a quick disclaimer, this is not going to be a history class 101 type of filibuster long essay on the history of jazz drums. We're not going all the way back to Africa. We're talking about the beginning of the music as it arrived to what we know as the American continent. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and start this demonstration. So the story of jazz drums starts right here with the American March. Very simple, no frills. Played on the snare drum, the bass drum, and what would later be called as the hi-hat, of course. They were all separate instruments. But as the music progressed into New Orleans, now you started having the influence of the African and Caribbean rhythms. And the drum set was then put together, all played by one person. By a man known as Baby Dodds. And other important figures included members like Zooty Singleton and Chauncey Morehouse. You have what is known as the Big Four, which is a big old bass drum beat on beat 4. Just like that. Now, of course, as the music started to progress, again, further, and moved into the big cities like Chicago and New York, the center of the beat moved from the snare drum to the hi-hat, otherwise known as a sock cymbal. And the drummers most responsible for carrying that beat included people like Chick Webb, Sid Catlett, Papa Joe Jones, and Sonny Greer of Duke Ellington's orchestra, of course. And that was the main beat of what we know as the swing era, the swing craze. Everybody was going crazy for that. With a nice driving 4 on the floor beat like that, along with the hi-hat, there's no way you couldn't dance to that back in those days. This also allowed for the back line, which used to be the tuba, the big old low end of the tuba, to move to now the upright bass, which had a lot more sonic freedom to be heard throughout the band. It was just swinging, and that's why we called it swing. However, as the music started to progress yet again into the 1940s, you had musicians like Dizzy Gillespie that got bored playing just for dancers. They wanted to expand the music out. So they had drummers of their bands like Kenny Clark and Art Blakey start experimenting about music, the cymbal to the ride cymbal. And now, of course, during those times, there were quite turbulent times. So they had a kind of a nifty way of telling their musicians how to play. And they told him to start dropping some bombs. This kind of excited everybody, kind of woke them up. Also allowed for more creativity in the band. Now you had different ways to accentuate the rhythm. And the comping of the snare drum, which means accompaniment, started to free up too and got a little more complex. That's where you get the sound of bebop. It's literally the drums. Bebop. That's all it is. Okay, so as musicians were starting to get really hip to Kenny Clarke and Art Blakey's drum style of that time, you started to move into the 1950s. And of course, Art Blakey once again pioneering the drums and the rhythm. Drummers like Philly Joe Jones and Jimmy Cobb also started experimenting with this rhythm. And now the music became a little more deeper. And as the pulse of the music is changing, the way we think about the music is also changing. So as different musicians were getting hip to the sound of the drums and the new ways of playing it, you had the newer generations of people coming along like Elvin Jones. And Elvin Jones, who loved Kenny Clarke, started experimenting more with the triplets in his music, which of course goes all the way back to the African rhythms. And now, as we move forward, once again, we go to Miles Davis's band. And we have a young Prodigy drummer that, after he started playing, changed the world of drums forever. Now, we're talking about Tony Williams. And Tony Williams, especially as the music started getting faster, Miles told him, play something different. And boy, did he do. Boy, did he do that. He started changing up the ride cymbal, playing it on different beats. And now the drums were free to do basically anything they wanted to do. This is the state of jazz drums as we know it. All right, so we just did a lot of drums. That's a lot of drums. And you're probably wondering, wait, what about the more modern examples? What about this cat? What about that cat? What about this? Well, the reason why we stopped at that point is because you have to understand that so much of what we know as jazz drums came from the core innovations of these incredible musicians and geniuses. And every drummer that came after them was a product of some kind of influence of studying these drummers that came before them with, of course, the influence of the music that they grew up with around their time. So all of your favorite drummers, we're talking about going back to Jack DeJohnette, to Vinnie Colaiuta, Lenny White, Dave Weckl, talking about Jeff Chain Watts, Marcus Gilmore, who's some other people? Herlin Riley, of course. Greg Hutchinson. We're talking about, yeah, exactly. There are so many musicians, of course, and Eric Harland, another great example. There's so I can go on forever, of course, talking about these names. But the point is, all of them had music of their time as well that they loved when they grew up, and they practiced that music, and they studied the core tradition of the music as well to help get them a better grounding in the history of the music. And so, of course, we want to give all those wonderful drummers that we know and we love and we play with the respect as well, because y'all better listen to them. That's don't fall behind on listening to the music of your time. This is important. We are creating the music, so that's why we want to talk about it. But I just wanted to make sure that we understood the history of the music so that we can all have a common ground to go back to in understanding the lineage of the music so that we can make it more of a continuum for each other. All right, y'all, that's it for this video. And I had a lot of fun spending some time with one of my best friends, Evan Sherman, who also has my same middle name, by the way. Something you should know. But yeah, if you enjoyed this or you didn't and you want to just kind of scream at me like because your favorite drummer wasn't in this video, either way, leave a comment down in the comment section below and tell me what you thought, because I love to do more stuff like this, because Evan will be back in some future videos or some other videos that you may have already seen right now. But of course, if you did like this video, go ahead and give us a big thumbs up, hit that button right there, and also hit the subscribe button and the bell right next to it so that you do not miss any videos that we put up, because I told y'all we making this happen this year. This is happening. And of course, you want to keep up with us, you can go ahead and follow me at Pat Bart Music on all social media platforms. And of course, Evan at Evan Sherman Music on all social media platforms as well. And you can join the Discord, because if you haven't joined the J Music Discord, that is the place to be. That's where I'm most active. Even though it's for J Music and you just want to talk about jazz, that's fine. We have that. But either way, that is the best way to stay in contact with me and all of your favorite musicians that are affiliated with me as well. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next video. And of course, you want to stay in contact with us, you can go ahead and follow Evan. Oh my gosh. I'm good.